Hi guys, Rasmus Kjærbo behind the dials here. I'm happy to show you some of the new features of Live 9. And what I did first was go and ask on the Danish user group what people were most excited about for the new launch. And there was consensus about session view, automation recording, and the different audio to MIDI conversions, and also how to go back to arrangement in spite of being able to record automation in the session view. So let me try and explain some of this stuff to you over the next 20 minutes. So I got Live started up here, and one of the new things in Live 9 is that it has a redesigned browser, and it's first and foremost, you can now access sounds according to their sound and not their instrument, and you can preview the instrument devices and the instrument racks like this. And a really handy feature here is that it comes with a kind of built-in Google. So if I press Command F and I search for hip hop, for example, I can, not that kind of hip hop, that kind of hip hop. I can easily find a clip, put it into my set, play it. There we go. And it automatically changes the tempo to, since this is the first clip, it changes the tempo to the clip, and it's 100 BPM. But I'm feeling a bit upbeat. I just had a cup of coffee, so let's knock it up to 105. So here's our first beat, and let's get some more in there and try to layer it with some reggaeton, for example. Yeah, I like that. Let's get that in. Yeah, that's good. So one thing to notice here is that the congas are actually hitting quite low. So I need to cut out some of those low frequencies. And the way we do that is by the EQ. So if I search for EQ again, I'm seeing everything that has to do with the EQ. I'll just put on the device itself. And as you can see, it has a built-in visualization now. So it's easy to see where your sound is living, and there's a lot of information down here in the low end. No worries, we'll just cut it out, and let's try and sweep. A bit too thin. Yeah, I like it around 150. Cool. And another new feature here is that the audition mode, when engaged, when you press one of these bubbles, you get to hear what you're actually changing here. So I'm cutting out all the rumbling frequencies here. And if I change one of these parameters here, I can hear what effect it has. So adding a bit of presence, adding a bit of air. And you know what? I actually like that. Let's bypass. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So far so good. Let's layer this beat with some more drums. And a fast way to do this is just converting the drums to MIDI. So Live analyzes the transients and the sound of the transients, and it makes a corresponding MIDI file. And this is what it sounds like. Yeah, there's reggaeton for you. And since we have it as MIDI now, we can very easily go in and add changes. So let me duplicate this a couple of times. All right, I like that. Let's copy it over to the end as well, just holding down the Option key. And let's give it a little bit of ramp here by using the Command key like that. And let's raise it a little bit for all of them. Okay, I like that. Cool. Another thing to notice here is that we have a kick here from the 606, and the kick is hitting very low if we expand the equalizer here, we can actually deduce the frequency, and it's around 50 Hertz. So let's make sure that our initial drum loop here, I like my drums to be in red, that our initial drum loop here is free of those frequencies so they're not conflicting. And I'm just adding the EQ. And for this, I'm gonna use the new 8-pole filter. It's 48 decibels per octave, which is more or less a straight cliffhanger. Only Tom Cruise can maintain one of those. So let's put it to 70 Hertz and hear what it sounds like with the other kit as well. So that's no sub, and let's put in the sub. Yeah, that's for the ladies. All right, so one last thing to do here is group the drums. Let's call this the drum bus, and let's add one of the new devices here, which is the glue compressor. And the glue compressor is really good on mix buses, especially on drums or on your master bus. So I want to have a little bit less compression here. So I'm gonna decrease the release and I'm gonna increase the attack. There we go. So I'm kind of tugging in the drums together. And let's give it a 2 dB makeup gain. There we go. And let's give these guys a red again. So far, so good. Let's get in some melodic material. And for this, I have found a drum loop from a DJ Smash collection. And I'm just gonna drag in the clip straight away. And let's put it here. Let's move it over. And let's call it Bassline. There we go. And this is what it sounds like. All right, so we need to do a little bit of tweaking here, and the start point is the first one. I'm gonna put it here, and let's just see how Live warps this straight up, and let's audition it with the metronome. Spot on. So I just want the first 4 bars here. I'm gonna select them and do Command L, so I have the loop going. Let's take off the metronome and hear what it sounds like with the congas. Okay, I like that. Now let's convert this melody to a new MIDI track, because we don't want to use the sample from Smash's collection. We want to take out the bass line and do something with it. And here, let's hear what Live did. It again analyzes the timing and the pitch of it, and then it puts in an instrument that suits it. And here it's the analog and the tension. So this is it. Let's put it in fold mode. Pretty impressive. I'm gonna take a little bit of this out just so that it sounds a little bit more to my liking. Okay, I like that, but we need more than just 4 bars here. So one of the new MIDI editing features here is that we can instantly, with one click, make a copy of this. And now we can introduce variation. And I'm gonna use the legato mode here, and this moves the note off point to the next note on point. And let me just do some edits here. And I don't let's legato that one. Let's hear how this sounds with the beat on. Let's legato this guy too. Okay, I like that. Let's put a compressor on here. Compressor. And let's do the RMS since we're compressing bass. I'm just using as it is because I'm not really in my mixing mode right now. I just wanted to get more or less in the ballpark. So that's it. I'm going to turn it down accordingly. And let's add a preset that I did with the auto filter, and that's the G-Funk. Yeah, I like that. And again, to create some more variation, I would like to change the frequency here. So let me just, I'm gonna record in the automation for this. And the way that I do that is I'm gonna engage the session view recording. Okay, there we go. And if we look at the clip now and check out the envelopes, we can see the information here. I'm gonna disengage it. And you know, here in the end, let's just add a little bit of ramp up, like that. And then if I hold the Option key, I can do curves, like that. Let's take everything down a bit. Okay, nice. Let's call this bass, and I like my bass to be brown. So far, so good. One important thing to know here is that this preset was just saved by renaming it, Command R, and then pressing the save button here. And this automatically puts it in the user library where you can access it. And under the user library, you can also get into the default settings. So if, for example, I wanted to save my compressor, and every time I put on a compressor like this, I would just right click and say save as default preset. And the same goes for audio or MIDI channels, that I can save a default MIDI track, or I can save a default audio track. So I like to play the harmonica every once in a while, and I thought, hey, let's try and do this for this as well. And I did a recording that sounds like this. All right, let's just convert this straight up to this harmony into a new MIDI track. And harmony here meaning more than one note at the same time. And now Live put in the grand piano to play harmonies, and this is what it translated it to. Fairly impressive. We just need to do some minor tweaks here. I'm gonna quantize it, and there's a few culprits here that needs to be moved. Let's hear how that sounds. Whoops. Okay, I like that. But I don't think I want a piano to play this. Let me instead swap this to a guitar sound. And one of the workflow optimizations here is that I can press the Q button and go into hot swap mode. And here I can browse around, and I know I want a string kind of sound, so I'm going to tension, the physical modeling synthesizer, and there's guitar unplugged, and I remember in the bottom there's, yeah, that guy. Let's see how it sounds with that on. Yeah, I like that. Let's give it a bit more reverb. And the reverb going on here is the convolution reverb from Max for Live that's now included in the suite. It's in an effect rack, and I just have some of the parameters that I use mostly. All right, let's make this a bit more interesting and put on the arpeggiator. Let's have it go in 16 notes. Let's have it go up and down, and where it can do it, do one step of an octave. Yeah, I like that. Let's hear how this sounds with everything. Yeah, I like that. There's something with the key though here, and that is that we have this smash bass line is in F sharp minor and my harmonica is in F major. So I can easily transpose the whole clip down a semitone by doing this. And if I want to be super sure that everything is in key, I can use the scale plugin and put in the C minor chord here, change the bass to F, and let's hear how that sounds. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's record this into the session view. Sorry, into the arrangement view. There we go. And the automation follows along here. And you see here, whoop, there we go. That was one round of it. Notice that everything is gray here. So if I start playing, even though I've recorded it, I'm still hearing what's going on in the session view. But if I want to go back, I can now do this for each track individually, like this. Or I can go and engage the bass line again. And up here we have the, so you can always open the help and see what it's called, the re-enable automation. So if I were to change the automation for the bass line, for example, the G-funk frequency, if I were to change that over here, now it's stuck and this guy is orange. So this means that I'm going back to the automation that I already have. And it's absolute, notice that, it's not modulation. But here, the button back to arrangement moved up here from the global section. And what it does is just, it puts everything back so that we're hearing what's going on in the arrangement view. So everything in session view is stopped if it has information. It's stopped and then we only have the information from the arrangement view here. So if I want to make this into a 1 minute sketch, I can select everything and drag it out to 1 minute and 15. But notice here that the automation does not follow along. One way to fix this though is to duplicate the clip like this, and then I can just drag it out so I don't have all these snippets. And let's just make a small sketch here. I'm gonna make my view of the real estate here. I would like to start just with the reggaeton and not the support drums. Oh, we actually forgot something, and that's the harmonica. Because I would like to use the harmonica, but I want to have it going in reverse, and I want it to go to the dub delay, and only to the dub delay. And I want to hear how it sounds with the beat. Yeah, I like that. Because I would like to start with that, actually, with the harmonica and the beat. So let's check this out. Let's have a little bit of break here. So this was actually not reversed. We'll fix it, no worries. Here, let's go from here. Because the clips they're different. There we go. And let's take out the harmonica from here. And let's just put a little bit of harmonica in on the end as well. I just want one snippet to signal that it's the end. Like that. And let's thin it out from here. And let's throw the reverb on here in the end. Again with a curve. There we go. Happy to show you the new features of Live 9.